Jonas Salk once claimed that if all insects disappeared from Earth, all other forms of life would die within 50 years. But if all humans disappeared, within 50 years, all forms of life would flourish. I know this seems pretty pessimistic, but I'm not trying to spread a sense of despair. My intention is to challenge the notion that Earth would be a better place without humans. It's easy to feel paralyzed by the plethora of problems threatening to overtake us. I'm an architecture student, and in my field alone, we face eroded shorelines, constraining building codes, dwindling resources, absurd work hours, and a discouraging lack of affordable housing, to name a few. But rather than allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by these problems, we must tackle them. A scientist once conducted a demonstration that illustrated the altered nature of our environment. In a tank of polluted water, an octopus happily buoyed from wall to wall. The scientist took the octopus and placed it in a second tank, which contained clean water, as pre-industrialized conditions would have exhibited. The octopus abruptly sank to the bottom and died. I'm not saying this from a place of hopelessness, but we live in a geologic era defined by the decisions of our species, and regressing to previous conditions is not an option. There's no returning the octopus to clean water, and it doesn't want to be returned. But we can embrace the chaotic conditions around us and improve them, each of us focusing on our interests and passions. The interests and passions of my classmates inspire me to pursue my own. One friend took co-op as an opportunity to spend 6 months on a farm in Arizona, birthing goats, building tiny homes, and reveling in the sustainable living model. By harnessing our potential and unleashing it on the world's troubles, we will render ourselves indispensable, invaluable. If we allow ourselves to be paralyzed by the multitude of problems at hand, we miss out on an equally extensive web of amazement that surrounds us. I've been lucky to observe this web of amazement during my time at Northeastern. One source of wonder has been the student body. I've learned as much from my peers as my professors. The world of a cappella introduced me to fellow students from across the country. During my freshman year, we won the ICCA quarterfinal at Berkeley. The competition in Pitch Perfect is real, and just as intense in real life as it is for Anna Kendrick in the movie. Winning the quarterfinal and going on to place in semifinals is still one of my proudest Northeastern associated moments. The people I shared it with continue to inspire me as they have entered the workforce as nurses, journalists, and teachers. Many of us have had our first experience in the corporate world while on co-op. My first co-op was as a model maker for a Boston-based architecture firm. I crafted dozens of tiny basswood chairs and tables for a model of the Boston Public Library renovation. To say it was monotonous is an understatement, and I struggled to find value in what I was doing. But walking through the renovated library now and observing the furniture in its full-scale manifestation validates that each role within a production is an important one. The steadfast work ethic of my classmates and foray into the corporate world have both served as reminders of the web of amazement. Boston itself has been another source of inspiration. Some mental snapshots that will always stick with me are the Red Sox World Series triumph, trekking to work during the snowstorm of the century, because those little wood chairs needed to be made, and the city united under a Boston Strong mantra after the marathon bombing. On my second co-op, I worked for an architecture firm in Santa Fe, New Mexico, immersing myself in the sublime landscapes and distinct culture of the American Southwest. During my time there, I contributed to a rehabilitation project at a Native American Pueblo village. Standing on a stone parapet of a 500-year-old adobe dwelling, looking out over the desert from the edge of a soaring mesa completely took my breath away. It would have been impossible to stand there and not feel the deep conviction that the world is a beautiful place. I hope that my classmates have gleaned similar inspiration from the web of amazement. We can place ourselves in inspiration's way by appreciating each other's accomplishments, choosing stimulating work environments, and exploring mysterious corners of the world. Our experiences here at Northeastern empower us to disprove Salk's belief that the planet would be better off without us, and I believe he would be heartened to be disproven. Thank you.